Jackson County Economic Development Partnership Annual Appreciation Reception. We have some exciting things I want to share with you this evening. My name is Joe White. I'm the chair of the executive board. I do want to recognize a few people that is with us this evening. State Senator Shane Wilkin, if you would just maybe stand, raise your hand, and if you would just hold your applause until the end, and then on the last one we'll give a round of applause. So Shane is here. State Representative Jason Stevens. State Representative Mark Johnson. Director of Government Office of Appalachia, John Carey. Scott Ryan, Ohio Department of Development. Tim Derrickson, Senior Director of Food and Agribusiness, Jobs Ohio. Dennis Minyar, Director of Economic Development, Ohio Electric Cooperative. Stephanie Gilbert, Executive Director, OVRDC. Katie Farber, Vice President, Ohio Southeast Economic Development. Gloria Bavette, Project Manager, Ohio Southeast Economic Development. Destiny Bryson, Manager of Engagement and Partnership, Ohio Southeast Economic Development. Kara Willis, Regional Talent Manager, Ohio Southeast Economic Development. Tice Patt, representing Senator Bernie Marino. Jackson County Sheriff Ted Frazier. Bryn Stepp, from the Office of Governor Mike DeWine. Kelly Johnson, Office of Congressman David Taylor. Our very own Mayor of Jackson, Randy Evans. Mayor of Wellston, Anthony Brennan. Commissioner John Hensler. Commissioner Donnie Willis. Commissioner Paul Howard. Tiffany Ridgway, Jackson County Auditor. Brian Leach and Kelsey Stewart from the Jackson Chamber of Commerce. And Jackson City School Superintendent Phil Howard. Did I miss anybody? Okay, if not, let's give them all a round of applause. And again, on behalf of the Economic Development Partnership, thank you for coming. It's a great crowd. You turn over stand.
Thank you, Joe. So our first speaker this evening really needs little introduction, and he'll get just that. We are very fortunate to actually have both of our legislative partners in Columbus here with us this evening, and they're both going to make some remarks tonight. And our first one is the king of Kitts Hill himself, Representative Jason Stevens.
Thank you, Zim. How's everybody doing tonight? Great. Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to say a few words, and it's really an exciting time in Ohio and here in Jackson County as we just see a lot of opportunities and a lot of things happening, and there's just a real buzz about a lot of things in our communities, and it's really exciting to see and play a small part in it. And as you think about economic development and you think about community development and what do we do, in our areas that have, ebbed and flowed over the years, we have different challenges than other parts of Ohio do. And what I see in successful communities and what you're seeing here in Jackson County is you're seeing folks work together. It's about cooperation. It is about that, partnership. It's even in the name of the organization, and it's a partnership of local, county, and the state where we can be helpful. And what's really cool about a real partnership that works is nobody cares who gets credit. You don't care who gets the credit. You just want to see good things happen. And when good things happen, it's good for our community. I look back here, we got the mayor of Wellston and Jackson sitting side by side, and they're not arm wrestling or anything. They're getting along pretty good. They might later, I don't know. But anyway, you just see that cooperation, and the commissioners and all the other county officials, I just see it. And of course Sam and his leadership, and Sam will call me up every now and then, and just a random phone call and on this, that, or the other thing, and hey, we've got another groundbreaking to come to, and it's really cool to watch that. And when you have that cooperation and that partnership, it brings about a lot of opportunities, right? And you're ready for that development to come in, because you never know when a business or a corporation or whatever may be coming. And if you've got that cooperation and you've got the ground prepared and you've got the areas ready to go, you can be ready to have that success. And what's really exciting about it is it creates a momentum. And when things go well, they tend to continue to go well. And I see that happening here in Jackson County and in Southern Ohio and the entire state of Ohio. And, you know, we just want to keep that momentum going. We want to make sure that as the government, we don't get in the way. I think that's one of the most important things, and making sure that there are those resources. You know, I feel like, you know, being from Southern Ohio, it feels like sometimes we don't have those resources. And that's one of the things that I know Senator Wilken and I have been really focused on, is making sure that the Jackson counties of the world get that resource and that assistance from the state. And I know we have a lot of partners from our state development agencies, and it's really good to see you all here and celebrate the success of Jackson County. So I was talking about having, you know, getting some of these HERS chips and sticking them in the office, you know, there at the State House, but I was afraid the aides might eat all the chips if it would stay empty. But we'll get that, and I don't know how many of you all know, but Grant Plummer from Wellston is my legislative aide. So if you call up to the office, you'll hear a familiar voice. And I don't think Grant's here tonight, but if you ever need anything, you know, feel free to give us a call, and we'll be glad. Or if you're coming up to the State House, we'll be glad to host you. So anyway, congratulations. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak, and I'll leave a few things for Senator Wilken here to talk next. There you go. All right.
And of course, we are well represented by two legislative partners in Columbus, and I'm really been really pleased and honored to get to know Senator Wilken. He is no stranger to what we do in economic development. As a county commissioner in Highland County, he was shepherding a lot of projects with Ohio Southeast. Katie, you get your credit too, don't worry. And he actually knows what it's like to walk a site and pitch it to a company, and he knows exactly the things that we go through as economic development practitioners. So it's my pleasure to introduce our state senator from Highland County, Senator Shane Wilken.
Well, thank you very much, Sam. First thing I want to say is, how about a round of applause for that food? Because I don't think the food would be that full out. You're really good. The second thing, I don't know if anybody else in here is wondering this or not, but Jason and I were sitting back there, and if you got to see the President of Herr Foods, how can you own a snack company and be that tall and skinny? I look like I own a snack company. So anyway, it is truly my pleasure and honor to be able to represent Jackson County in the 7th Senate District. Some of the things I want to tell you that I'm going to try to do real quick is there's a good friend in Columbus that has a motto, and it is be brief, be brilliant, and be done. Does anybody know who came up with that? That's right. Lydia Mahalan, who spoke here either last year or a couple of years ago. So I'm going to try to go at least 2 for 3. The neatest thing I think when I come to Jackson County is how it really seems to be with Sam's group, the local electeds. It's all one team moving in the same direction. What's better? If something good happens in Wellston, it's going to be good for Jackson. Something good happens in Jackson, it's going to be good for Wellston. We are regional. We travel when we work. So you've got that going for you. And I want to encourage you to stay in touch with your locals. Stay in touch with my office, with Jason's office, if there's something going on. We're very fortunate. We've had a lot of money put into Appalachia throughout this region. And Scott, who works for Director Mahoney, can tell you there's lots of money. And we got to make sure that we take care of that money, we use that investment, and we keep things going. As Jason mentioned, momentum. I don't think, in my personal opinion, you will find a better Department of Development Director than Director Mahal. She is great. She is one that does not look for ways to tell you no. I've called her before and said, hey, here's what I really need. Can you help me out? And I think I know how to do it. From my time as a commissioner, I've dealt with this. I think this is the way. And I've had her tell me, I don't think we can do it that way. people that we need, and we found that out the hard way. But we're coming back around. I think that's going well. I enjoy the partnerships and the time I have with Jobs Ohio from my career days to now. Lots of times there's projects going on that they can't say lots about because of competition and non-disclosures and all that good stuff. But that's kind of just what I want to say, guys. Please keep in touch with all of your locals. If you got something going on as a business, if you've got a plan, if you've got an opportunity, please let us know and let us see if we can help. Or let us see if we can get something out of your way. That is what we do as much as anything. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Sam. Thank you so much for having me. I do want to say my wife, who is your 4th District Court of Appeals Judge, Christy Gunden, we're dividing the conquer tonight. She's at our youngest daughter's basketball game. So she says hello, and she's sorry she couldn't be here. But thank you, Sam, very much. I appreciate the time.
So, I was reminded just a little bit ago, we actually have, and I believe Troy will mention this later on in his remarks, Tony Dunnigan here from Sutherland Construction, and he was thanking me for some help that he's crediting our office for with some permitting issues that were kind of slowing down hers project here in Jackson. And I appreciate the extending the credit this way, but it was really our legislative partners with Rep. Stevens and Senator Wilkin who were making phone calls and using their influence to remove some barriers. But that goes to speak to exactly what he's talking about. Inform us of your needs, inform us of your challenges, and we will pull together as a community to get those things out of your way. And speaking of someone who pulls for us, we are privileged tonight to have the Vice President of Business Development for Ohio Southeast Economic Development. She is no stranger to this community, of the people in this room. How many years have we been walking this path together, Katie? 12 years. She is the longest tenured staff member with Ohio Southeast, and she was there at the beginning, and she'll probably turn the lights off on her way out. That's just. She's an advocate for this region and our projects and our companies, and she's a friend of this community, and she's going to come and talk to us right now and give us an update on Ohio Southeast and the things our Jobs Ohio Network partner is doing. So please make welcome Katie Farber.
Thank you, Sam. So I'm going to deliver points, and I use note cards because I'm not real good at staying on track otherwise. But I have good news to share with everyone. So thank you again for welcoming me. I'm Katie Farber, and I have been through the ranks. I started as the project manager, and one of the counties was Jackson, of the 9 that I covered. I'm joined here tonight by Gloria Blavel. Gloria, where are you? The current project manager, who's doing an amazing job. Who's covering Jackson and other counties. And our Managing Director of Food and Agribusiness, Tim Derrickson, who's no stranger here. He's been with us for a number of years. Tim loves Jackson County. There's a lot of food going on down here and a lot of money being made for all of the economies of Ohio. So we're pleased to be a sponsor of tonight's event, Jobs Ohio and Ohio Southeast, and to give you an update on the results that we are seeing in Jackson County because of strong partnerships and because of hard work. And because I've been working down here for 12 years, it wasn't always this way. We've grown together, we've worked together, we've identified what needs to happen, we've found resources, but through it all, there's a strong team. And the role of Jobs Ohio and Ohio Southeast is to support local efforts. We don't design them, we don't administer them. We help you execute the strategies that you want for your community. The leadership that Sam, John, and Amanda provide in this office is outstanding. And what I can say is that the Jackson County Economic Development Partnership looks for opportunities. And when you look for opportunities hard enough, and I've said to many who've known me for all these years, under every rock, let's just go. Let's see what we can do and what we can find. And Jackson County is a really good success story as a result of that. This team that you support at the at JCEDP, let's just say Jackson County, I'll just say the partnership, how about that? Understands the importance of relationships with the existing companies here in this county. Sam loves the fact that he does more of what we call BRE meetings, that's business retention and expansion, than any other county in the 25-county region that makes up Ohio Southeast. It's very noteworthy, but the fact that we get over 85% of projects out of BREs that we do means that we're finding ways to help you, the business community, with growth or expansion projects or obstacles, as we talked about before. How can we make the business in Jackson County work better? Those BRE meetings are a strong target. And then the other thing that we've always needed, when I started, actually was the last number of years I've done business attraction, business development. Let me tell you how hard that is to do when you don't have any sites or buildings in the region. So I travel around the country, I talk to site selectors, I talk to people who have industrial projects, and I say, it's a great place, you would love the workforce, you would fit right in. What can I come and see? And I'd have to say nothing. Not in Jackson County anymore. Due to the hard work, the focus and determination, and the partnership that our legislators, thank you very much, cleared the way for our Rural Industrial Park Loan Fund. For other partners, Salt Creek Industrial became a reality this year. So there's a building that, Bo, I'm just gonna say it's nearing completion. I think you're still in the room here somewhere. Yes, you are, sir. Nearing completion and soon ready for occupancy. Those awards move needles for developers. They help close the gap for the risk that people are taking to ensure that this community can grow. So the growth of existing companies is what we're looking for, and attracting new business. By the numbers, 2024 was a good year here in Jackson County. We were able to assist with 3 projects, but the biggest part of those projects is that was a fixed asset investment of over $100 million into this county. But the all-time support, so since we started this gig, since Sam and I became buddies 12 years ago and Jobs Ohio was created, Ohio Southeast and Jobs Ohio have been able to assist with 34 projects. These are all industrial traded sector projects. These aren't retail. These aren't car dealerships that have grown here. We don't participate in those. It's just the traded sector. Those accounted for 820 new jobs with over $40 million of new payroll just in this county. 7,800 retained jobs with an estimated $312 million in annual payroll. Nearly $500 million of fixed asset investment has gone into Jackson County over the last 12 years. And we've been able to leverage over $6.8 million just in Jobs Ohio incentives for those companies. And then, in addition, back to the inventory and preparing sites and buildings, Jackson County's had their eye on that all along. And we're going to talk about the use of one of those redeveloped sites here later. But the site development support that we've been able to leverage is $2.2 million for Jackson County alone. So I guess my message tonight is that success does not happen alone. It doesn't just happen. The hard work of the partnership alongside Ohio Southeast and the other stakeholders is yielding results. And all of this is a result of the strong partnerships. It's a result of trust, working together. And doing that, we can continue to attract new investment, new jobs, and strengthen our regional economy. That partnership and support includes all of you as local stakeholders. Each of you has a role in economic development, and it's important that you're willing to be here tonight to support the partnership, but also when somebody needs your help, to answer that call and be a part of this growth that is really becoming quite a little machine down here in Jackson County. And I appreciate the commissioners and everybody here keeping economic development a priority, especially to our state elected officials. You keeping economic development a priority is making an impact down here. So we celebrate with you tonight at Ohio Southeast. We celebrate with you all as you welcome the county's newest employer, Herr Foods. It's been a fun project to work on. It's been a real privilege to welcome the team expanding throughout the region, and there's nothing like a warm bag of chips out of that factory. So thank you for your continued investment in this region. We appreciate it. The Ohio Southeast team looks forward to 25 and continuing with the partnership that we have developed in Jackson County to promote more growth and investment. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you for not falling. I can't tell you, and my wife Rebecca, who is here with us tonight, the lovely Rebecca, who's still the prettiest girl in Jackson County. She's here with me tonight. And, my team at the office, John Stabler, our site development coordinator, Nicole Havens, our administrative assistant. You need to update your information, Katie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you even met her too. That's the. And of course, somebody who needs no introduction, but she's going to get it. And her name tag says project support, and sometimes we call her director emeritus. I still call her boss, and that is my predecessor, Jennifer Jacobs. Who still gets louder applause than me. And right, thank you, Commissioner. They know how I have labored over what I'm going to say here, the things I'm going to talk about. I had a 20-minute conversation yesterday on what we're going to put on the slides. It was just a really laborious task, but for a good reason. Because there's just been so much success that we have enjoyed in this past year as a community that it's hard to put a word, just a phrase or a word on it. Tim, Jobs Ohio, and Katie in the Ohio Southeast team will tell you 2024 was a hard time from a project standpoint. Political uncertainties. Dennis, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I don't mean to draw attention to you, but Dennis Bingyard with Ohio Electric Cooperatives, one of our...
He has a 6 o'clock.
He's got a 6 o'clock flight,
So.
but he is also one of our event sponsors tonight. Dennis, thank you so much for your generosity and friendship.
We're citizens and Sam and his team in Jackson County, so it's easy to sponsor this kind of event. We're happy to have the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Dennis is a good friend of economic development, and especially this community. But the political uncertainty around the presidential election really slowed down the traditional business development pipeline for a lot of communities. But Jackson County, we were able to push forward because of the outreach that Katie was talking about and our aggressive business retention and expansion program. And I was even kind of bragging to Ohio Southeast this afternoon on, hey, we actually just did 2 BR&E visits with you today, and I was reminded that Cole Massey and Gallia County did 5 with them yesterday. So that immediately deflated my sales. However, Cole Massey never did 30 BR&Es in 1 month. Yeah, August, check your math, it's there. And this is a very competitive thing among the county practitioners because the BR&Es, it isn't just about the metrics and the numbers. It speaks to the relationships and trust that Katie was talking about with your employers who will give you their time to share their opportunities, share their challenges, and trust you to actually act on in their best interest and look for those opportunities for them to either capitalize on the opportunity or mitigate the challenges. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, I labor. But I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the fact that this past year, Jackson County Economic Development Partnership was celebrating its 35th anniversary. Since 1989, this organization has been working hand in glove with Jackson County commissioners, with our mayors, township trustees, our incumbent industry to bring economic growth to this community, working on behalf of our citizens. And as Ronald Reagan once said, there's no social program better for an individual than a job. And I'm also reminded of the words of Governor Rhodes, who said there's nothing wrong with Jackson County that 1,000 new jobs wouldn't fix. And that's what we are endeavoring to make happen. By the numbers this year, now our numbers may not reflect perfectly with what Katie said, because we do, as the local economic development organization, we track projects a little differently because we do operate in areas that Jobs Ohio and the Jobs Ohio network partners don't necessarily work in. But in 2024, we are able to make 22 different technical assistance referrals for entrepreneurs and small business. That's with our partners at the Small Business Development Center, Economic Community Development Institute, Women's Business Center, Pike County Community Action Business Development Department, all those service providers who just do those technical assistance things that we're more tooled for projects as opposed to technical assistance. We work with them to make those things happen for our companies. Very proud of the fact that we had 120 new full-time equivalent job creation commitments in 2024. That is the third highest year for Jackson County in the Jobs Ohio era, and that's no small thing. Our projects also had 852 jobs retained for a total of $144,718,101 of new economic development investment in Jackson County in 2024. And I wish, you wish you could take credit for it, but it isn't us. We're just here to help. It's Herr Foods, it's General Mills, it's all these great companies. In fact, we had 12 different business development project wins in 2024, among them being Geiger Brothers, Osco, General Mills, Herr Foods, Willis Advantage Property Solutions, Holzer, Bryn Mawr, and Red Apple Realty, just all sizes of business and scope, bringing new jobs and investment to our community this past year. In the way of community development, which we're working in, partnering with, even working more closely with the county commissioners, the City of Jackson, City of Wellston, John really taking the lead for us in those areas. We won 11 different, and not necessarily us as the partnership, but our community won 11 different community development and placemaking projects, among them being money in the capital budget for the memorial building, Blamer Park in Wellston, the Lou V, environmental assessments for DT&I and JISCO, as well as the Wells Heritage Museum received an investment as part of the Appalachian Community Grant Program this past year. And we're not going to talk a lot about ACGP tonight because those projects are really going to see those impact in 2025, but we have some great things going on in the community in that regard. As well as we had 6 different site and asset development wins, among them being who's a big fan of Herb Blue, by the way? And if you look on Google Earth, they've already picked up on the street view the new colors. So I was excited to see that. As well as Katie already mentioned, that's Jackson Grandview Builders Spec 1 project. And Bo and Denton, raise your hands again. The Bowman family really making Salt Creek Industrial Park a mature industrial park with this investment. 32,000 square feet, expandable to 60,000. That's right, you celebrate that, Katie. Gloria, of course you're sitting with Taylor. That project came about as part of a rural industrial park loan, an OSIP grant that Katie mentioned, as well as supported by Jediso and Flurby WXT through our office, and we really can't say enough about that. Between these two pictures, you have over 80,000 square feet of manufacturing space and potential manufacturing space being constructed and redeveloped within eyesight of each other. That's really exciting for us, especially when you remember the days of going on those market visits, talking to site selectors, and they ask, what do you have to offer? A healthy handshake and a welcome. That's about what we have at the moment. But with these investments, of course this one already spoken for, but we want to take credit. We just want to celebrate it. But the spec building, which was the first one constructed in the city of Jackson this century, as well as the first one constructed in Jackson County since 2007. This is fantastic stuff. So legislators, we keep Ripple funded. Scott, make sure Director Mahalik keeps the Brownfield program funded for local communities. We're doing good stuff with it, but we need more help. At this time, we've talked a lot about 2024. Whenever I go into our executive committee meeting every month, I always have this feeling of, what have you done for me lately? It's, there's always the pressure and expectation that, hey, you guys are being charged to do a job. Where are the results? And I'm happy to say we've already closed a project here in 2025. And I wanted to give this business owner the opportunity to come and greet you. It's actually a small business in Wellston. It's a multi-county operation, and it's one that we actually began an engagement with in 2019, actually won the project in 2020, and that's Sunrush Water in Wellston. And their owner, Michael Bloom, Mike, come on up. I've actually asked him to come up and talk about their latest expansion project. It's the third one we've worked with them, the second one with Jobs Ohio, and this one is actually called Project Emilio Estevez. It's it's a really fun project because it's an expansion of a vertical integration process where Michael actually is going to be less reliant on external influences when it comes to his supply chain, which is, as any small business owner is, it's always volatile. So this is a really exciting project. So Michael, why don't you come and greet everybody and talk about your project?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm Mike Bloom. I'm the owner of Sunrush Water. To get to this point here, I just want to tell you a little bit about where we started to get to where we are now. I'm not originally from Ohio. I'm from North Carolina, the Outer Banks. What in the world could bring a guy away from the Outer Banks would be a woman. Let's be honest. We met in the military, and it took me a month to get her to go out with me and another month to get her to marry me, and that was in 1992, so something worked out right. But anyway, when we got out of the military, we moved back home, my home, and we lived there for quite a while. And I got involved with the bottled water business down there with a big company, and I learned a lot. But during the recession, some things happened here, there, and everywhere, and we ended up moving up here to Ohio to be closer to her family. And it was supposed to be temporary. I had some things lined up that I was really excited about, but during the recession, not everything really works out. So I was here in Ohio, and I was kind of putting around trying to think, what am I going to do? I got to get a job. I got to make some money, support my family. And I just couldn't find a place to fit at that point in time. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go back to what I was doing before. And so in 2008, I borrowed a couple $1,000s from somebody, called my old boss and convinced him to send me a load of water and let me pay for it as I sold it. And I started a little custom label bottled water company in Ohio. So the 20-ounce bottle you see there, the original company was just custom labeling that water with your logo. And the name of that company is Your Bottled Water. Whose water is it? It's yours. Put your name on it. And that's what we do. Well, in 2009, I met some people that had another water company that was failing, and they wanted to get out, so I bought out their assets, which was great for me because they had a little bit of 5-gallon water business and they had some water treatment business, which I didn't know anything about the water treatment business. I had to learn, but I really wanted that 5-gallon business to help me get a little more integrated into this area. And so I bought out their assets and I retained 2 of their employees. And so now it went from this guy who had a Hyundai Elantra for a delivery vehicle, selling water by the case out of my car, to now I had a couple of employees and we had a few more customers. And keep in mind, we're not bottling this water ourselves. We're buying this water from co-packers. Well, we got bigger. We added a few more employees. We're still buying water from other people. And all of a sudden, my co-packer sells to a big competitor. And I sat down to lunch one day with a few of my peers that were also selling water from that same company. And we were like, what are we going to do? And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to start bottling my own water. And one of the guys is like, you know what, if you'll bottle it, I'll buy it from you. And that clicked. That made sense. So I was looking for a place, and I wasn't really comfortable with bottling water really close to the atomic plant for a lot of obvious reasons. If nothing else, for marketing purposes. I could not convince people to buy water to make your skin glow. So I came to Jackson and I reached out to the economic development people and said, hey, I need a building. Can you help me out? And I met Sam Brady. And I'll tell you, Sam really helped my company really scale up a lot. He really did with his help in Jobs Ohio. Because I was able to invest in some bottling equipment, but in order to be a co-packer, I had to offer more than just one product. And in the bottled water industry, we have more than one product. What you've got in front of you today is distilled water. There's reverse osmosis, there's spring water, there's deionized water, there's several different things. And all I really had the money for at the time was just a reverse osmosis system. Well, Sam introduced me to the Jobs Ohio people, and they said, hey, we've got some programs that might be able to help you out. And I'm like, oh, well, I really could use some help because I need a distiller, and a distiller is very expensive. But if I can buy this distiller, I've got other people now who will buy their water from me, and I could be a better co-packer. And so they stepped up, they gave me a grant. I was able to buy this distiller, and just since 2019, we've quadrupled the volume of water that we were selling at that time just since then. So we're now bottling for other companies as well as ourselves. And that's been great. That's been very, very helpful. And we've continued to grow. We're 10 employees strong. And Sam just mentioned a few minutes ago that we're now making a vertical leap over here trying to resolve another issue. What we bottle in Wellston is our 5-gallon bottles, the big 5-gallon bottles and 3-gallon bottles. And those bottles are reused. They're used over and over and over again until they wear out and become unable to be used, and then they're recycled. Well, they're very expensive, and the cost of those bottles has really doubled in just the past, well, not even a decade, less than a decade, the cost has gone up. Almost to the point that for a bottler like myself, or even a distributor to buy bottles, they're spending almost as much as what we sell them for, what we charge as a bottle deposit. And we have to buy a lot of them at a time, tractor trailer loads, and for small companies to put out a lot of money at one time for water bottles over and over again, it's cost prohibitive. So I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Especially since I'm co-packing for some other people, there's got to be a better way. So I started making some phone calls, and I found a company in Texas that sells blow molding equipment for 5-gallon water bottles. And right now it's a lot of other molding companies and plastics companies and everything. They handle all this stuff. Most bottled water companies, they don't make their own bottles, not at this scale, not this size. They do the small ones, but not the big ones. And this is going to be an expensive project. And again, Sam came to visit me one day, and he brought the Jobs Ohio people. And I told them about the project, and they said, we think we can help. And so they did. They helped. And they provided me with another grant, which allowed me to buy this equipment. It has not been installed yet. It's in the process of some final touches being put on the manufacturing part of that equipment. But the equipment should be here hopefully in the next few weeks, and we're going to have it installed. And at that point, we'll have the ability to blow mold our 5-gallon, 3-gallon bottles, not for just us, and not for just the people I bottle for, but anybody across the country. So this is a great opportunity for us. And in the video, they've cleaned out the sound, but at first we really wanted to be kind of careful and quiet about our project. We didn't know what to call it. In the video, you'll see that there's an employee that's showing how to use the equipment. And I make a comment to him, don't mind me, I'll make you famous. And thus, Emilio Estevez from Young Guns, the line, I'll make you famous, that's why we got this project name. But we're actually gonna call this Bloom Bottles. And I think we're gonna show the video, so we can show what we're gonna be doing here. This is Mirage Industries. And right here you see an oven, and you'll see the preforms for the 5-gallon bottles. These are actually 3-gallon bottles that they're blowing right now, but these are the preforms for these bottles. And those go into this oven, and they heat up. And it's actually kind of a slow process. This is not a really, really big machine for very high volume. This machine will do about 100 jugs an hour in production, but it's okay to start out small. And as that machine heats these molds up, you'll see that he'll take one out and he'll put it down in the blow molder, and then he takes the finished product out after it's blown. So he's putting a preform in. He already put a little handle in there, and so that heated preform now, the blow molder will blow air into that and expand it out to the proper size, and then after that, you know, there's the other equipment you don't see there is the big air compressor and the air dryer and the shrink wrapper for the pallets and all that other stuff. But there's quite a few pieces of equipment there. But it's this is going to allow us to add a few more people to the team. There'll be at least 2 or 3 more positions. It's kind of hard to say, but we really think that once we can offer this and other people with other companies and other states hear about it, I think that we'll be able to very competitively offer more products, and we can just bring in, more employees to help grow this process. So we're looking for a lot of expansion. Our next project, we hope in the next couple of years to bring in the full line of equipment that allow us to actually blow mold the little bottles and fill those bottles and label them for ourselves or for you if you want your own water bottle. We can do that all in one spot, hopefully in the next couple of years. And we'll be doing it right here in this area. And that's it. All right.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
So as Michael alluded to, these little projects are uncovered, when we do our business retention expansion outreach. If there is anything a local economic development office should be doing, it's that kind of outreach. And again, we've already alluded to this, how it is competitive amongst the other practitioners, other counties in the Ohio Southeast region. I am pleased to report that for the 3rd year running, we are the #1 business retention expansion outreach program in Southern Ohio. And this past year, it was tough. We actually had to come from behind and win this. The other practitioners, other counties, actually, Gallia and Ross were very aggressive in their outreach this year. And I'm very proud to say that this competitive element has really caused everyone to up their game. And a few of them got close, but didn't quite make it. Unfortunately, Tammy couldn't be here tonight, so this Photoshop is completely wasted. That's okay, I'll send it to her. And of course, Tammy Leonardo is one of our partners in the JCEDP group of benefactors of the Florida WXT Community Commitment Plan. Tim Poe here with Florida WXT, our liaison to that group, and responsible now for since 2018 or 2013, excuse me, over $1 billion of economic development activity in Jackson, Pike, Ross, and Scioto counties. And as of at the end of 2024, the 4 counties actually had secured over $1.2 billion in activity. But the best part is 48% of that was in Jackson County. So As a community, we certainly punch above our weight. It's because we have great companies here doing business. General Mills, Belicio Foods, now Herr Foods. We're proud to add to that list. Mid-sized companies like Montgomery Trucking, Buckeye Construction and Restoration. I can stay here all night and just name entrepreneur. Hey, Bob, speaking of which. Company after company investing in this community, and we're just proud to be part of their success. But you guys have heard me talk long enough, because this crowd didn't come to listen to me. They came to listen to our next speaker. And he is somebody I have been very proud to get to know. His whole family, his Uncle Ed Herr, as well as his cousin Jerry Thomas, who was really adamant that you needed to do this job tonight. For a VP, he is really, just kind of pushes that responsibility upward, doesn't he? But we are proud tonight to have Troy Gunden with us, who is the president of Herr Foods. I got a short but mighty bio here to share with you. Troy Gunden serves as the president of Herr Foods and is the grandson of Jim Herr, the founder, and the nephew of Ed Herr, the current CEO. After graduating from Furman University, his passion for the outdoors led him to embark on a six-month journey hiking the Appalachian Trail from Maine to Georgia. He then began his career in the financial industry. In 2004, he joined the Herr's team with a desire to learn the business and continue the legacy instilled in him by his grandparents. He started out as a route truck driver and moved on to various positions within the company. In 2010, Troy earned his MBA from the University of Delaware. In 2018, Troy began working with Ed Herr on transition planning. Troy currently oversees manufacturing, marketing, sales, supply chain, and quality. Troy also works with his cousin Crystal in the Herr Family Council and on succession planning for the 4th generation. Outside of work, Troy continues to pursue his love for adventure, recently embarking on a mission trip to Zimbabwe with Hope International, accompanied by his wife and twin 14-year-old boys. He enjoys fitness and is an active member at Equity CrossFit, as well as serving on the board of directors for the Upper Brandywine region of the YMCA. So Jackson County, it's my pleasure to introduce you for the first time, Troy Gunden.
So could we do something that would be something we would do at Herr's, and that is absolutely acceptable and encouraged to eat snacks while we're talking. So I do have a topic though. If you work in a snack food business and you eat snacks, you are not snacking, you are taste testing the product. So by all means, if you guys want to do that. And while we're talking, what I'd like to see is, and the Herr's team, you're not allowed to talk on this, but how well do you know snacks? Because Ohio has a lot of snacks in this area. So there is an 80-year-old company out of Zanesville, Ohio. Yell out if you know the name of that company. Right, Conn's Potato Chips. And then how about out of Cincinnati, we have a 106-year-old company. Who? No. Anybody? Grippo's, there we go. And then out of Dayton, founded in 1910. All right, and then out of Chillicothe, 46 years. All right, you guys. So we've been in Chile for 46 years. We have about 70 people, and I just want to say thanks, y'all, for coming tonight. We have our leadership team that made it down. So with that, I also thought I'd tell you a little bit more about the snack food industry in terms of if you were to add all of those companies up, we actually represent less than 1% of the market share in the United States. So if you think about that, 1% of all of snacks with all those companies combined, and we're less than that across the United States. So it is a crazy small percentage of snacks that we sell. But if you think about the competition that we compete against, it's pretty amazing. So Frito-Lay is by far the biggest. They have Lay's, Tostitos, Doritos. You might have heard of those brands. But there's other big companies like Hershey, Campbell's, Kellogg's, and you'd say that we compete with those major, global companies every single day. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about from a Hers perspective. We say we need to think a lot about, as a company, what makes us different? What is our point of difference? And that's our tagline. But it really asks this question. And think about yourself. If you were to go over here to the Walmart and you say, hey, I want a bag of snacks, and you go down that aisle, we try to ask that question, why would someone choose Hers rather than choosing these other snacks? And you got to admit, there's a lot of really good tasting snacks out there. So we actually spent a lot of time working on it. We came up with 6 reasons why we think that consumers should pick our brand. So I'm not going to give you all 6. I'll give you 3 tonight. But the first, and it's really, really important to us, is that we are a family business. We want to be local, and we also are really, really proud and protective of our culture. So in 1946, my grandfather started Hers. He was a chicken farmer. He was 21 years old, and back in those days, you had to work on the farm until you were 21, on the family farm. And then he went to his father and said, hey, Dad, I like to work hard. I'd like to talk to people. And in chickens, you really don't talk to people. And his dad said, hey, that's a great idea. You can do whatever you want to do, but I don't have any money to help you. So for anyone that's single, I'm looking at the Brady boys can learn from this. This is what you don't do. So if you need to borrow money, what you don't do is go to your girlfriend's boss and borrow money and not tell your girlfriend. Right? Like that's a 0% chance that that's going to work out. But it actually did work out for him in terms of they got the loan, they ended up getting married, they started this business, and they had 5 children. So the company started that way, and they believed in 3 principles that I want to make sure that we bring to Jackson. And that is we love God, we love people, and we love hard work. And so that was what set my grandparents on their path. And then about 30, 40 years ago, they passed that down to our 2nd generation. Sam mentioned my Uncle Ed, who's still our CEO. The 2nd generation was able to instill those values in the 3rd generation. And now I have 4 cousins that I work with, 4 of us total, that are working on the transition plan to keep this in the family. So you say, hey, what's important to your family? First, we want to stay family owned, but also, this is really, really important, we want to have a culture that our grandparents will be proud of. And so when we think about that, when we come to Jackson and you say, hey, Troy, what's on your mind as you're looking out the field or whatever we're thinking about, we want our grandparents to be proud of what we're doing. And so that's really, really important. But I also feel like that's a point of difference for us compared to those major conglomerates. So the other thought that we have is quality. And when we think about snacks, and it's really easy. This is like a math equation. It's so simple. If you don't make great quality snacks, nobody's going to buy your product. It's just easy. There's so many good quality out there. So we've invested in state-of-the-art equipment, but we're also going to be looking for top-notch people. And what we tell our team members back in our plant in Pennsylvania and also in Chillicothe, and it's really important to think about, is that we make about 300 million bags of snacks a year. And there's about 300 million people that live in the United States. So you might say, hey, that means you sell a bag of snacks to every person in the United States once a year. And you say, actually, not even close. We really only focus on about 14 states. And really, what that means is that people go out and they buy our snacks, they like our snacks, and they buy it the next day, they buy it the next week, and they buy it the next week. And so it's so valuable to us to be thinking about the person that's our repeat customer that comes back and buys that bag again. They enjoy it, they come back. And so when we think of quality, that's what we're thinking about. And you can't do that unless you have great people. So actually, Katie, you used this word. I was going to thank you for that. And it's what we call relationships. And so we really feel strongly that what sets us apart, besides our family, besides our culture, besides our quality, is the way that we treat people in the community. We treat our customers, we treat our suppliers, and we want to be good neighbors when we come to this town. And so the relationships, like for example with Tony and then actually Seth, it was sure nice to meet you guys. We want to partner with local contractors and local businesses when we're in the town. We want to hire people that live locally. Our management team is local, and it's really important to us to give back to the community and also be a part of this thriving community. So with that, that's 3 things that we feel like make us different, make somebody would want to buy our products. And I said, well, then maybe you guys would be interested in why we chose Jackson. And you say, what is Jackson's point of difference? And I already told Sam this. It's really hokey, but it really is true. We looked at a lot of different sites We toured a lot of different places, and when we came to Jackson, it felt like home. We liked the people, we liked the spot, right? We like our location. We like the proximity to our raw materials, which we use corn and vegetable oil and potatoes. We like the proximity to our customers. And then we like the idea of creating another version of our little town and our plant in Pennsylvania here in Jackson. Now, I have to say, Jackson's slightly bigger than we are because in Nottingham we don't have the Walmart, so you guys are ahead of us. So, with that, I wanted to stay on time for you guys. I do want to just say thank you. We're really looking forward to the future. We have a job fair coming up. Our goal is to hire around 100 people. We're being careful in saying over the next 2 years, but the job fair comes in Chillicothe in April, and then we are going to be hiring. We start the plant here in Jackson in, call it September. So we're going to be hiring in early summer or late spring. So we're going to be having job fairs. We're really working with you guys in terms of who do you know that are great people. We have, one of my favorite ways to find people is that we have a really good referral bonus for our team members because we love to hire people that they trust. So it's a good way to start. So with that, Sam, I'll let you come back up. But also, could we just give Sam a hard time? He made a tie out of our snacks. That's a pretty impressive tie. So anyway, hey, one last thing. We do not want these snacks back. Please take them with you. Take them for your friends, family, kids, all that stuff. Test them out. Let us know what you think. And we appreciate you guys. Thank you and nice to meet you.
Mayor Evans, if you and Joe could join me up here. Now, I actually got the opportunity to go through the plant today with Troy and his team, and I'm not going to lie to you, I got a little verklempt. It was really kind of an emotional and surreal experience to see the beautiful plant that's being created there from what was there. I remember when Meridian Automotive originally left the site, the condition it was in, how that particular building was left. One of our former county commissioners advised us to make sure you never show the building during the daytime because all the sunlight that was coming into it, all the holes in the metal. I'm very proud to say it's not that way anymore. However, I wanted to get something ahead of your decor. So we got to, Joe, if you and the mayor could bring that out here. We got something for you guys. This was actually created by students at the Buckeye Hills Career Center. And this is actually, in Jackson, we love apples. And we got you a little apple tower made by the welding students there. And this is custom. This is one of a kind. When you see the welds on, you understand. But we wanted to give you a welcome to Jackson County on behalf of the partnership and the whole community. And when you guys make apple cinnamon cheese curls, and this will make you look great with that. So this is welcome to Jackson.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, sir.
And when you mentioned the referral bonus that you have at the company, that explains how Kevin's son-in-law got hired. So, lastly tonight, we do want to do what has become a custom at the end of our appreciation reception, and that is the James A. Rhodes Leadership and Public Service Award. This is an award the partnership has been issuing to celebrate economic development in individuals over a lifetime, dedicated to Jackson County, dedicated to job creation and just the betterment of our community. And tonight, for the first time, we're actually not honoring an individual, but an organization. And that would be the Community Improvement Corporation of Jackson County. Founded in 1963, the Jackson County CIC have probably been one of the most impactful organizations you've never heard of, in that they have always preferred to work a little quieter, not really seeking the limelight, but they have been part of some very, very significant economic development projects over the last 62 years now. And of course, we have the original signatories here: Arthur D. Jenkins, William Davis, Robert Talbot, Paul Messick Jr., Sam Brackman, and John Lewis, the original board members. And we're really wanting to celebrate and show our appreciation for 6 decades of impactful job creation projects, among them being Goodyear, Jackson Plastics, Geno's in Wellston, Four Winds Nursing Home, Marilat Cabinetry, Louis Geno's, McCarty Crossing Shopping Center, Casa Grande more recently, Vinton County National Bank, and also they were part of the Herr Foods property transaction themselves. So certainly we are very appreciative of this hard work and want to celebrate that. Unfortunately, the CIC leadership could not be with us tonight, so tonight Mayor Evans will be accepting the award on their behalf. So Mayor Evans, I don't know what you walked all the way back here for. You weren't done yet. Now, I know that the CIC was formed 40 years before you were born.
They were, yeah.
So on behalf of them, on the partnership, what perception is this? How far out do you want? Good job. So, and lastly tonight, got Starbucks. Lastly tonight, we just want to say thank you. Thank you to the investors who contribute capital to the organization. Thank you to our stakeholders and partners who contribute your energy and make this happen. We're very appreciative, and I love bringing my sons to this event, and for some reason their mother always makes sure they get out of here before I start talking, because much like church, they'll, Dad, you could have been done already. But we're doing this for the next generation. We're doing it for Samuel, Sullivan, Simon. We're doing it for Tessa Stepp. We're doing it for the Brenner boards. We're doing it for Rowdy and Hank. We'll get your grandkids too, Mayor. And we can go around the room and just. We're doing it for that next generation. That's one of the reasons, I've just absolutely been thrilled, and, it's been a pleasure working with the Herr's team and that multi-generational family aspect. It's been a great time. So, for those who contribute to our organization, thank you. Please keep doing so. For those who haven't before, we ask you to consider doing so. We will be sending out fundraising letters here in the next days and weeks. I got to do the spiel. This isn't this is fundraising. This doesn't happen out of the goodness of everybody's heart. It costs money, but we do appreciate all that this community does to support the partnership and its mission. So, thank you. Have a good evening. Be safe going home, and we look forward to more success this year.
And take chips.
Take chips. If you have a Sharpie, Troy will autograph every bag.